people are the key to past, present, and future success, growth, and quality workmanship. Let's stop a moment at corporate headquarters and meet the people who work here. John W. Koessler, Jr., president of Greater Buffalo Press, in the soon-to-become tradition of the Koessler family, began his career at Greater Buffalo Press working part-time after school. Jack was graduated with a B.S. degree in history in 1949 from Canisius College, which was also Walter's and Kenneth Sr.'s alma mater. Mr. Koessler could be found after school and during the summer working for the company starting in 1943. By 1949, Jack Koessler was working full-time in shipping, the press room, and plate making. In 1954, Jack Koessler was promoted to man in charge of the pre-press at Great Lakes Color Printing in Dunkirk, New York. Jack became an assistant to Kenneth Koessler Sr. in 1960, who was then vice president. Jack was responsible for maintaining press schedules and monitoring plant production. In 1963, Jack was appointed to the position of Secretary, Greater Buffalo Press. He was then promoted to Executive Vice President of Operations in 1970, and in 1973, Mr. Koessler became President. Mr. Koessler was most instrumental in developing a system called pre-registry. This system permitted individual segments of pages to be locked onto the presses, thus eliminating many press problems. Mr. Koessler, as president, is responsible for developing the goals, objectives, and policy decisions for Greater Buffalo Press and all its operating subsidiaries and divisions. The president is assisted by the executive vice president, vice president finance and administration, vice president in charge of sales, secretary of GPB, vice president of engineering, vice president planning and development, and director of operations. Paul J. Koessler, executive vice president, worked for the company part-time during high school and then full-time after college, as did the other dedicated executives in his family. Paul was graduated from the University of Detroit with a B.S. degree in mathematics in 1959. Paul completed the Harvard University Advanced Management Program in 1981. During college, Paul came back to Greater Buffalo Press every summer to increase his experience in the family business. In January of 1960, Paul was a full-time employee in production. In 1961, he was assigned responsibility for the development and operation of Kenmore color plate as a sophisticated, high-quality pre-press operation. He remained at Kenmore Color Plate for 9 years, establishing this division as a major contributor to Greater Buffalo Press printing operations. In 1970, Paul was transferred to headquarters as corporate secretary. He has been executive vice president of Greater Buffalo Press since 1973. Paul believes a major contribution during his time at Kenmore Color Plate was the development of the PIN registration system. He stated, "This was an exciting period in my life. Since it was a new subsidiary, there were many innovations and new ideas developed constantly. It was definitely a challenge." As executive vice president, Paul is the chief operating officer of Greater Buffalo Press and is responsible for all day-to-day activities to achieve the president's corporate goals and objectives. The executive vice president is assisted by the director of operations. All operating managers of Greater Buffalo Press, its subsidiaries and divisions, report through the executive vice president. Vice President, Finance and Administration, William P. Brosnahan. Bill began his career at GPB in 1965 at Frontier Bindery. He is a graduate of Holy Cross College and the Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania, where he was awarded a Master of Business Administration degree. He is married to the former Lori Koessler, Kenneth Koessler Sr.'s daughter, and they have 3 children. Corporate Secretary, Kenneth L. Koessler, Jr. Ken began his career with GPB as a student working part-time and summers. Ken was graduated from Gannon College, where he received a B.S. degree in business management. Ken was previously corporate purchasing manager, in which position he served from 1975 to 1980. Ken and his wife Paula have 4 children. Director of Operations, John W. Koessler III. Jack III began his career in 1965 at the old ink department at Grote Street. He is a graduate of the University of Dayton, where he received a B.S. degree in Industrial Engineering, and Rochester University, where he received a B.S. degree in Printing Management. Jack previously served as plant manager of Southwest Color Printing and Greater Canada Color. He is responsible for the day-to-day management of all printing plants. Vice President of Sales, Peter Vogt. Peter began his career at GPB in 1957 and was then the only salesman. Peter established the sales department as it is today and is responsible for all commercial sales and marketing. Peter is a graduate of Dartmouth College, receiving his B.A. degree in economics. Peter is married to the former Mary Lou Koessler, J. Walter Koessler Sr.'s daughter, and they have 4 children. Vice President of Planning and Development, Richard A. Hain. Dick began his career at GPB in 1953 as a nickel plater at the Dunkirk plant and was promoted to his present position in 1980. He is a graduate of Canisius College, where he received a B.S. degree in chemistry and biology. Dick and his wife Barbara have 6 children. Vice President Engineering, Harold Rosenberg. Harold's association with Greater Buffalo Press began in the early 1950s when Walter Koessler contracted him as a part-time engineer while he was employed at Burke Tool Company across the street from corporate headquarters. In 1979, Harold joined GPB full-time as Vice President of Engineering. He received a B.S. degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Buffalo. Harold and his wife Eleanor are the parents of 2 sons. Director of Human Resources, Donald J. Barnett. Don started his career at Greater Buffalo Press in January of 1979 as a member of the Personnel Department and later became Manager of Employee Communication and Training. Don graduated from Canisius College with a B.S. in Economics. Don and his wife Janet have 7 children. The other members of the staff at Grote Street are Mary Lou Vogt, Director of Corporate Contributions. Stephen Uhas, Director, Research and Development. Joseph F. Garrigan, Controller. Gary M. Kennedy, Manager, Accounting. Michael J. Uhas, Manager, Data Processing. Donald E. Castro, Manager, System Programming. Peter H. Grimm, Project Manager, Mini Computer. George Kurt, Director of Safety. William M. O'Connor, Manager, Benefits Administration. Donald E. Polinsky, Manager, Managerial Planning and Development. John P. Dolman III, Director of Newspaper Relation. Jeffrey Hart, Manager, Purchasing. Paul C. Hilbert, Director of Taxes. J. S. Coe, Manager, Cost Accounting and Estimating. John Compere, Manager, Traffic. Ronald P. Smith, Supervisor, Accounts Receivable and Billing. Carol A. Sondel, Supervisor, Accounts Payable and Payroll. Janet A. Tober, Manager, Marketing.
Now that you've met our corporate staff and employees at Grote Street, my brother Paul, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Greater Buffalo Press, will take you on a tour of our plants, where you will meet the rest of our Greater Buffalo Press family.
We have grown from our humble beginnings to a recognized leader in the printing industry. Today we have 8 plants located in 5 states and the province of Ontario, Canada. Our newest printing presses are heat-set offset presses, which were developed by our company and manufactured by the Harris Corporation. Our GBP family has also grown, and we are proud of their skill, dedication, and contribution. Rather than me telling you about our plants, I'm going to let the plant managers tell you about their operations and introduce you to their people.